Welcome to A Song of Ice and Fire Symposium. My name is Nav and my pronouns are they, them.
And my name's Harmit and my pronouns are Hershey, like the chocolate.
And this is A Feast for Crows, chapters 35 and 36, Samwell and Cersei. In these chapters, Sam has sex for the first time, and Cersei lets us know her entire Maggie the Frog story for the first time. Welcome to the podcast, everyone. So, Harmit, who died in these chapters?
Our friend.
Does our
Maester
friend
Aemon.
have a name? Okay.
Maester Aemon. Very sad. Did anyone else die? No. Well, they're saying that Loras is on the brink of death. Felice is on the brink of death.
Right.
I think that's it. We should have a death counter and then also have a who's near death
Counter.
Yeah.
Yeah, that would be fun. Except I don't want to. So much work.
Hater.
Okay, what? Find new terminology.
Oh my god, come on. I'm trying so hard.
Okay. All right. So, what did you think of these chapters?
They were so cute and so good, and they took no effort to read, which I really enjoyed.
What do you mean they took no effort to read? Like
they were easy reads. There wasn't too much going on, so I could just enjoy. Yeah.
I mean,
Like,
there's plenty going on.
I don't know. They felt easy to read.
Okay. Well, that's good.
Usually they're not that easy to read. I do have to have a little bit of brain power. But this time I honestly kind of breezed through them.
All right. Now I'm worried that you missed stuff.
I did not miss anything, okay? I'm just a genius like that.
All right, Miss Genius. Let's see you summarize these chapters and see how genius you are.
Okay.
Okay. 3, 2, 1, Sam.
Okay. Aemon's dead. Sam's doing the funeral because there ain't nobody there. On the ship, working his way. Him and Gilly drink together, get drunk, then they have sex, and he regrets it and then avoids her. And then the girl, there's all this camaraderie on the ship and it's cool. And the girlies go fucking talk to her or else you're gonna go walk the plank. And then they talk. What are they?
That's a minute. Kind of are or switch rather, not a minute.
Okay. Cersei, okay, so we hear about the Loras stuff, and so Loras is near death because he decided to be a martyr instead of being smart about it, but it worked. We've got Dragonstone now, supposedly, and then she talks to Pycelle, and she's like, give me sleep wine, and we get the Maggie dream, in full this time. Maggie dream in full this time, and then she talks to Tommen, and then she's
That's a minute.
Oh, kill Marjorie via treason charges.
Okay.
Get Osney out of there.
Cool. So, okay, you got most of that.
Slay.
There's a lot more in Cersei's chapter, but it's she just does a lot all the time.
That's true.
Okay, let's dive in. So, Sam, they're aboard the Cinnamon Wind, which is the ship of the guy who saved Sam, and we heard about it. So they got passage. You were not sure where they were at last time?
Not sure where they were at?
During Arya's chapter, you weren't sure exactly whether they actually got on a ship and were on their way.
Yeah.
All right. So they are aboard the ship. They're on their way to Old Town. When we catch up to them, I think they're passing Dorne. So they've made quite a bit of the journey. And Maester Aemon came with them, and he was reinvigorated having heard about Daenerys and her dragons and all of that. And like, so he, for a while, seemed to be on the mend. But we catch up to Sam, and he's doing the funeral rites, so he clearly did not still make it, unfortunately.
This is real sad.
Yeah, but I'm almost grateful that we first hear about the fact that he's dead and then go back to like how he was invigorated, because like if I saw him like be better and then like the next chapter was that he's dying, like he's dead, that would hurt me. I would be offended by that, you know?
Yeah. Ugh.
But he was talking some interesting stuff near there, so
Grandpa was dropping so much lore. Like, insane amounts.
Basically. So, he's like, we never looked for a girl, because it was always the prince that was promised. But then he's like, but dragons don't have gender. So, like, why were we so set in our patriarchal ways?
Yeah,
like,
we just did the translation wrong, because we had this bias.
Yeah. And he's like, well, for a while, both Rhaegar and I thought that it was Rhaegar, and even he, like, because he was born in the smoke that devoured Summerhall, and the salt from, surrounded by the salt from the tears shed for those who died. So once again, Summerhall, burning, disaster, Rhaegar being born, everybody else dying, like, mystery. Like, it's not quite clear what the hell happened, but, you know? Yeah. It's just coming up again, so thought I would highlight it. And, yeah, apparently it was... So, Aemon's talking about how Rhaegar shared this belief that Rhaegar was the prince that was promised when he was younger, but then later he became convinced that it was his son who was the prince that was promised, because his son was conceived when there was a comet in the night. So that's interesting.
Very Dany's Dragon's Core.
Exactly.
Okay, my thing is, so Aemon, I guess this kind of tells us that, like, Aemon was still, like, in touch with his family sort of thing throughout the years, and, like, he even, like, talked to Rhaegar a bit.
Right, yes.
I guess I just didn't realize that he was still kind of involved.
Yeah, what time, like, was it during when he was at the wall, or... I mean, they can write letters. Like, Benjen would hop over to Winterfell once in a while, you know?
Yeah.
Remember Benjen?
Oh, yeah. The way we... Bro, the amount of shit that happened in book 1 that we still don't know the answers to.
Yeah.
Like, what the... Whomst? Where is he? Like...
Yeah.
Oh my god, maybe he'll come back and they'll make him the heir. Like... Come on.
That's true. He is a Stark.
Wait, if Stannis finds him, Stannis can use him as the Stark heir.
That is true. If Stannis finds him.
He don't need no Ramsay or fake Arya. He got the real Benjen.
Okay. Except, like, Ramsay's, like, though. on the other side, opposing Stannis.
No, but he doesn't need the Karstarks.
Okay, sure.
I forgot what my own prediction was. Yeah. He can just go get Benjen. Aww.
Yeah. Oh, and also, sorry. Not only do the dragons not have any set gender, they don't have any set sex. Like, they can change biologically to meet the needs of reproduction. It feel like that's what I feel like it's saying. And that gives me hope that Dany's dragons can reproduce as well, you know? Because, like, they're the only ones around now, so...
Yeah. Well, to be fair, though, everybody and their mom is out here trying to make a dragon, so maybe one of them will be successful, and then Dany's dragons will have another pal.
Okay, that... Interesting, yeah. I mean, for a while there, Melisandre was gonna raise stone dragons. Remember that?
Yeah. That's what I'm saying. Like, she's out here. Like, everybody I just feel like is out here trying to make a dragon.
Yeah, and the other thing. So, like, I'm just gonna like cover Maester Aemon's whole ramblings in one go. Like, they're spread out through the chapter, but the other thing, he's like the prophecy, my brother's dream. So, like, I guess Aegon or one of his other brothers dreamt of this prophecy of like the prince that was promised.
It's probably the guy that had the dreams, right?
Possibly, but he also did say that all my brothers dreamt of dragons and died because of it, right? So, and he talks
now
about
he's dying as he dreams about
Rahel,
dragons.
or I think that is how you would say her name, like Egg's daughter, who used to call Aemon Uncle Maester. Yeah, so I don't know why he brings her up.
Okay. Oh, because he was explaining Robert's heritage.
No, he says she was how they came by it. Like, he's talking about the prophecy, and then he mentions...
No.
What?
He's talking about their, like, how they have Targaryen blood in them.
Their father's mother.
Hold on.
It's all very scattered. I'll read it word for word. So he says, the prophecy, my brother's dream. Melisandre has misread the signs. Stannis has some of the dragon blood in him, yes. His brother did as well. Rahel, Egg's little girl, she was how they came by it. Oh, she was their grandmother. Sorry, it's so, like, mixed in there.
It's a dying man's ramblings. Makes sense.
Right. It's because they're descended from Egg's daughter. Okay.
Yeah, he was just explaining, like, sure, she's got a point, but she ain't right. Like, you know, she's got to know that, you know?
Yeah, no, I just needed to read it out loud for it to actually sink in and make sense in my head, you know?
I think he brings up a good point, though, that I think you've made the point before, too, where, like, you were like, or, like, we talked about how, like, okay, clearly Melisandre's got powers and she can read the flames, but clearly she's reading them wrong, sort of thing. Like, even she herself has said, like, oh, sometimes we read them wrong, like, depending on what we think and whatever's going on. And, like, he brings this up again, too. And so I guess it just is, like, girly trying to delude herself a bit. Like, yeah, I'm definitely doing the right thing here. It's fine. It's definitely
Stannis. We've also talked about, like, whether she, like, actually believes it or if she's just did it for, like, the power trip, like...
Yeah, or something else. I think the thing is, that was kind of what I was thinking about before, but I think now, like, Aemon believes her, and so I believe her. Like, Aemon's kind of making it sound like he's like, oh, like, she's gotta know it's wrong, but, like, she's, like, I don't know, just the way he says it.
Yeah, because he's like, well, she has fabricated this Lightbringer sword, but, like, she's got to know that it's not the real thing.
Yeah. Which, like, sure could be, like, just part of, like, the power trip, just kind of going for it. But I don't know, I just feel like it's, I don't know, I think I'm starting to think that it's more just the delusional.
Yeah. So his whole thing is, like, Daenerys is our last hope. You have to tell them at the Citadel, make them listen, they must send her a maester. Daenerys must be counseled, taught, protected. So he's like, I wish I could be the one to be it for her, but I'm too old and I'm dying, so it's not gonna happen. And Sam's like, yeah, well, I'll tell them, but you'll tell them too. And he's like, yeah, not happening.
It sucks because he says, he's like, I've been waiting in the shadows my whole life to be able to do this. And, like, and that's probably why he was reaching out to Rhaegar and, like, keeping, like, you know, it makes so much sense, like, especially with the long life he's lived, and, you know, these tales or whatever and everything has kind of been part of their family for so long, and, like, all his brothers like, it makes so much sense that, like, he's probably felt this, like, immense responsibility to, like, see that through, and, like, now it's like he's so close as he's dying.
Mm-hmm.
It's just really sad. And it's like he's doing the next best thing. He's like, hey, get her another good maester, you know?
Mm-hmm.
But like, there's only so much. It's so sad.
Well, so he goes on the similar vein, but like some of his very last mumblings are, Sam says he spoke of dreams and never named the dreamer, of a glass candle that cannot be lit, and eggs that would not hatch. So we know about a glass candle, right, at the Citadel. So, I mean, it makes sense that he might be, you know, remembering his time when he tried to light that glass candle or whatever. Or is he getting prophetic in his last minutes of life? And he's like, that, because like that candle is now lit, you know?
Right. What was the other stuff he said at the
eggs
same time?
that would not hatch. We're going to come back to that one, but he said the Sphinx was the riddle, not the riddler. Not the riddle, not the riddler. Now that one, do you remember how when we were at the Citadel in the prologue and they call Alaris the Sphinx? And Alaris, we believe, is Solera. What? Yeah. Sorry.
Oh, Sorella.
Sorella. Thank you. I was like, what was the? I'm trying to like write it out backwards in my head. Sorella. Yeah. So, like in that way, the Sphinx is the riddle. So, is he like gaining some insight into that, which is what makes me feel like the rest is a prophecy, you know?
Right. Because sorry, can you just say the third one again?
Glass candle, eggs that would not hatch.
Oh,
Sphinx was the riddle, not the riddler.
Eggs that won't hatch like the Dany stuff?
Well, Dany's eggs have already hatched.
I guess I just assumed it was like a...
Where else have we recently heard about an egg not hatching?
What's his name? Euron's egg?
Mm-hmm.
Oh my god. Okay.
Did we talk about how maybe potentially he paid Jaqen with an egg?
We did.
And now Jaqen's in Old Town. Maybe he's trying to hatch some eggs.
Right. Oh my god, and maybe he's gonna get Sorella to help him.
Yeah.
That's crazy.
I don't know.
That is wild.
It's all connected.
Oh my god, and maybe it's connected to the Bring Down Old Town arc.
Oh,
not Bring Down.
Probably, definitely.
Yeah. Okay, hater. Oh wait, because that was literally Jaqen. I forgot about that literally being Jaqen. Oh yeah, of course it's connected, huh? Oh my god. Okay, that's scary.
But
because I don't know if I want, because Jaqen is already okay. But like, what does Jaqen? Like, what's Jaqen? He's already got like eternal powers. Like, is he trying to move on from his faceless man stuff?
I mean, if somebody gave me a dragon's egg,
yeah, like
I wouldn't say no. I would not try to hatch that dragon.
I know, but I guess my thing is like, what's his plan? You know, because I'm thinking the egg stuff like isn't his life's purpose. So like, what's like it feels.
Well, why not?
Well, I don't know.
Okay, now we're getting into like deep conspiracy theories. Like, okay, so remember how? Let me think about this. Okay, remember how the Faceless Men got their beginnings in the mines of Valyria under the Dragon Lords, right? And and we heard that story, and he was like, he gave the gift to the enslaved people, and we were like, why not the slavers, right? And he was like, he did that too, but that's another story. So now there is kind of this inherent connection between the Faceless Men and the Dragon Lords, and something, you know?
Okay.
Like, there's room to extrapolate there. And also, who's to say that Jaqen is, like, working exclusively for the Faceless Men? Like, maybe he's gone out on his own and is now a free agent.
Right. Right. I guess that makes sense.
I'm not saying any of this is like necessarily true. It's just
Yeah.
like things to think about, ruminate
Yeah.
on, you know?
Yeah, that's interesting.
And
Yeah.
he spoke of dreams and never named the dreamer, glass candles that cannot be lit, eggs that would not hatch, riddler, that thing. It's been highlighted a bazillion times. In the Kindle, so people, you can tell that people use this to theorize a lot. They're like,
Yeah.
what can I reference this in? In which theory can I make this a thing? So
that's so funny. Oh my god. Okay, hold on.
But
I'm just trying to find
there's
that.
see, I'm like mixing so many theories together here, but to me they kind of make sense together, you know?
Yeah.
And maybe there's like a grand culmination of all these theories somewhere, but if that exists, please share it with us. I would love to read it here as long as it doesn't contain spoilers, obviously. Or actually send it anyway so that I can read it for my pleasure and then maybe at a later date share it with Harmouth.
Aww. Sad.
Okay, so that's kind of
I
what
like
we
that.
get from Maester
That's
Aemon.
That's cool. That's so like, I like that. I don't know what to say, but I just like that. That's really cool.
Yeah. So those are all of Maester Aemon's ramblings in his last days. Going back to Sam and the situation here. So he does a eulogy basically, and they do the now his watch has ended, all of that stuff. And Sam's thinking about how like they bought their voyage onto the ship because they like lost literally everything. Darian.
Wait, sorry. In the same thing, in the prophecy stuff thingies, he spoke of dreams and never named the dreamer.
Yeah, but he's always speaking of dreams. Okay, you know what? There might be something there. That wasn't what I clung on to in that, because I mean,
everything else was so interesting.
Everyone around him was a dreamer, so like,
I see.
I don't know.
Okay, got it.
It's also giving me like, you know how George R. R. Martin, maybe we've talked about this. Whenever he gives like a prophecy type thing, he gives you one thing you know for sure, and then the others that are plausible. So it like lends credence to the overall prophetic powers of whatever source it is.
Right, yeah. See, I remembered that, and I just assumed that the eggs that would not hatch was that.
But the eggs have hatched.
I know, but I guess it was like past, in my head it was like past, present, future vibes.
Well,
like,
maybe the glass candle one is the one that's... Maybe the glass candle is the one that's supposed to be the check mark for us.
Right.
Because we do know that one for certain.
Right, that makes sense. Interesting.
I don't know. Cool. I took it as like an intro sentence to like his thesis. Like, I don't know.
Just like
but there may be like... he knew a bunch of people. Like, he knew Bloodraven, remember?
Mm-hmm.
And Bloodraven was like a known sorcerer and all of that stuff. So like he's known a lot of dreamers.
Yeah. Who's been having like dreams recently though?
I mean, Brad.
Right. Yeah, that you're right. This could like, even if George R. R. Martin had a specific one in mind, you could apply it to so many of them.
Yeah.
That makes sense.
I mean, Cersei's having nothing but dreams, so...
Oh my god. What's his name? The guy who did it? Marvin?
Marvin.
The Archmaester who...
who lit the candle? Yes, Marvin the Mage. I think that sounds right. Yeah.
I think so. Okay, cool.
So Sam bought their passage on board with the books they brought from Castle Black to bring to the Citadel to add to their library. And at first I read that and I was like sad. I'm like, oh no, the books are gonna get lost somewhere. But they were like, no, they're still gonna get them. We're just gonna sell them for money. So I like that.
No, that was really cool.
That's a win-win for everyone, you know? Like, the Citadel can afford it. They're just sitting there being all high and mighty.
So true.
So, yeah. So, basically, Sam had to give up everything, down to his socks.
What the heck?
I really didn't want to talk about it, but
foot,
yeah, like, that was so gross. I did not need to read that. Just, can he just keep his socks, George, and, like, we don't have to read about it?
Please. Oh my god.
But one of the important things he still does have is the horn that John gave him. And remember our theories about this horn?
Yeah.
Okay. Will you remind me of what I have told you?
Like okay, wait, hold on. Do I remember? Well, it's like the dragon thingy. You can kill a dragon, right?
Kill a dragon.
Kill a white.
Euron has a
others
horn that can enslave dragons to his will. Remember?
Yeah.
This.
Oh, JK, I don't think you've told me about this.
Okay, we have definitely talked about it, but like, there is I'm trying so hard to like remember if there's anything spoilery in what I'm about to say. But like, it's all theories, so I guess I can tell you. But remember, there's supposed to be like the horn that can bring down the wall.
Mm-hmm.
And apparently Mance Rayder had it, and he was like, let us in or I'll blow the horn. And then Stannis came in and attacked. So he has like a fancy horn. But then there's also this random horn that they found. So like, who's which, like, you know, maybe which this horn is like a sister horn, and, you know, like, I don't know, maybe you blow them together, or maybe this is the real one and that is like a decoy or something. I don't know.
Right.
But it could have significance. It's
okay, and then on top of that, we also have Euron's horn.
Yeah.
So there's multiple horns?
There's
3
lots
horns
of
going
horns.
on. Oh my god.
So
okay. Interesting.
Yeah. And like, the fact that George has like consistently brought it up, like every time Sam like takes a journey, George makes, I'm just calling him George now because we're BFFs.
He's our friend George.
Martin makes sure that like he mentions that he's got it with him, you know?
Yeah.
So that like signals significance to me.
Right, yeah. No, I think that makes sense. And especially with all the other horns going on, and then if he keeps highlighting this one, it's like every
maybe
time
this is the actual dragon enslaving horn. Who knows?
Right. That's so
But it was
funny.
found north of the wall, so it makes more sense to be like a wall-related horn, winter-related
and
one.
Also, like, that probably, like, that Night's Watch guy saved it, right? So clearly it was important. Like, he saved the dragon glass, and that was pretty useful. So it makes sense that this is probably useful too, like for the wall stuff specifically.
Yeah.
But like,
one of the other things Maester Aemon ensured Sam, he was like, Sam, you have to tell them about the White Walkers and all of that stuff. You have to, like.
Oh my god.
Now, do you think Sam will be able to, and will that information be taken seriously, and so on and so forth?
I think he'll do his best, and I don't know if I don't think the information will be taken seriously by everyone, but I think it'll be, like, just enough for them to, like, get a maester out to Dany, and, like, get a couple things going.
But, like, if they give Dany a maester, they're acknowledging her as, like, a contender to the throne and adding to the whole conflict ongoing right now.
Yeah, but I think it would have to be more of, like, a secretive thing or something. Like, I don't think it'll be, like, officially the Citadel is like, hey, because you're right, like, that would be, that, like, if they're willing to do that, there's a lot more they would do, because that's a big thing to do, like, you know? That's not, like, a side thing that they're gonna do.
Yeah.
But, like, I was thinking more of, like, like just like a Sam convinces a maester
Okay.
to sneak away in the chaos.
Anyone in particular, or just whoever he can find?
It would be cool if it was Alaris, but he ain't no maester yet. He's got a while. But maybe that's what he's gonna have to do. Like, he won't be able to get, like, an actual maester, so he'll have to get someone, like, in training. Yeah. I mean, I feel like Marvin is very, like, he likes sort of, like, a contentious area, you know? Like,
I mean,
with, like,
he's the one who lit the candle, and he kind of is known for, like, being the magic-y of them all, you know?
Yeah, and, like, kind of not, like, afraid to explore things, whether they should be explored or not.
Right.
So, yes, I think I was kind of thinking him, but my only problem with that, like, is he's literally an archmaester, right? So would that be, like, if he just kind of, like, went off, like, is that, like, giving
I feel like being archmaester gives you more autonomy than...
Right. I guess I just kind of think of it as, like, if, like, this is a weird comparison, but if it's, like, okay, this is, like, your political party and you're, like, the leader, and if you, like, do something that's kind of, like,
he's not the only leader. They're, like, all archmaesters are...
Yeah, but,
and he's
like,
actually one of the least popular ones, so...
Right. Yeah, I was kind of thinking that, but I guess I just was like, wouldn't that kind
it's
of be
like,
a bit
think
scandalous?
of them, like, as, like, attending physicians in a hospital or something, right? And his is, like, his specialty is, I don't know, orthopedics or, like, whatever. And he's like, I'm going off on a sabbatical to do some research over in Peru. I don't know. Like, I'm gonna check the healing qualities of cocoa leaves or something, you know?
Right.
So I don't know why it got so specific.
This is such a good metaphor. I actually like this scenario.
Okay,
this is cute.
But that's how I imagine it being.
Okay, so he can just, like, go take time. Like, he doesn't need to tell everyone.
Remember, he went to, like, a shy and everything, and that's where he met Miri Mazdur, or maybe not where, but, like, along those journeys, he met Miri Mazdur and taught her some anatomy things, and
that's true.
So he's been on these voyages before.
Right. And ain't nobody gonna be like, where are you going? Interesting.
Well, maybe they'll be like, where are you going? But, like,
not
I can see it being plausible. Whereas, like, Alaris, like, is like, oh, I'm gonna go on a research trip. They're gonna be like, sit your ass down and learn what we have to tell you first, and then maybe you can go on your own.
That's so funny. Oh my god. Yeah. That's kind of where my head was at. Those are also the only two we know by name. So
I mean, we know like
archmaesters, but, like, you really think it's gonna be them? Like,
well, no. We also know some of the some other acolytes, but
yeah, but I don't remember any of their names. So
there was Leo. I think there was a guy named Leo, and he was a Tyrell.
Oh yeah, he was the annoying one, right?
Yes.
Okay.
Indeed. Oh, there was Pate, but
yeah, but he dead. Pate got patty caked.
Okay. All right, let's get back to this chapter. So they stuff Aemon's corpse into a cask because, like, Sam wants to give him the Targaryen burial and also, like, the Watch's burial, which is burning the dead, right? But they're not gonna have a huge fire on a ship, so that's fair. So they are preserving his body inside a cask of wine, or rum rather, until they get to Old Town. And so they're talking about Gilly's baby, or Dalla's baby that Gilly is taken care of. And they're like, oh, we should name him after Aemon. And, like, she's like, let's name him Maester. And Sam's like, no, Maester's not really a name. Remember?
That reminded me of how I would always call everyone Maester.
Yes, but also, like, wasn't Egg's horse named Maester?
Oh yeah, like after his brother.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
Anyway, so they're like, we'll name him Aemon, Aemon Battleborn, Aemon Steel Song. But they're gonna do that once the kid turns 2, because it's bad luck to name kids before they turn 2, because they might just die.
This is so funny, because it feels like a technicality, though, because they've already basically named him.
Right.
Like, sure, they won't call him by it, but it's still, I would argue, like, you've named him. You're just not going to use
No, I
name.
agree with you. The other thing that confused me here is, like, Sam's like, oh, that's a great warrior's name. And it makes sense, because the boy was Mance Rayder's son, which he is. And Craster's grandson? Is that, like, via adoption? Like, what's the connection you're making here, Sam?
I saw that. I was going to ask you about that, but I guess he's just saying, like, he's Mance Rayder's son, like, we know that, but then, in this case, it's like...
Also, he's giving Craster more credit than himself, like, dude.
Yeah, it's weird. I think he's just trying to, like, be like, that's who he really is, that's who he's gonna live as. Like, that's it. Both of those are his legacy, I think. Because I feel like they're gonna tell the kid who he is, you know?
Yeah.
Maybe?
No, hang on. Wait. How is the kid at all related to Craster, though, is my question.
Oh, wait, right, because they're not...
This is not Gilly's baby.
Right, because... No, but I think... Because he has to be raised as Gilly's kid, right? But I guess the weird part is that he's being raised as Gilly and Sam's kid. We're not telling people that hehe's Craster's kid.
Right.
That's but I guess that's the self-deprecation
Sam makes no sense sometimes.
Yeah.
Very much so in this chapter.
Yeah, his head is just swiveling around in a bad way. Like,
so that was a weird sentence. It caught me off guard. Yeah. But anyway.
No, I read that and I was like, am I missing something here? Is this a reveal? Like, I'm so confused.
Yeah, because then I started thinking about, like, is Dalla somehow related to Craster? And I was like, no, I don't think so.
Yeah, I think it was just a poor attempt at being poetic.
Or was Mance Rayder Craster's kid? No, he wasn't. Mance Rayder was wildling born, like, but then he joined the Watch for a while, and then he went back to being a free folk.
It definitely wasn't Craster, though. Craster would have killed him. Yeah. Maybe that's why Craster started killing his kids. He didn't like Mance.
Well, we know Craster.
I know. It's the
sacrificed his kids to the gods. Yeah.
No, it's
gods in quotes. Okay, so this is when him and Gilly are, like, hanging out, and Koja Mo is the captain's daughter, and she's the one who speaks the common tongue, so they are, like, becoming friendly, and she's taking care of the baby tonight while Sam and Gilly take the time to grieve, and they start drinking, and, you know, they're like, cheers to Koja Mo, cheers to the baby, cheers to the other baby, 2 cheers to Aemon, and they're, like, before you know it, they're just, like, they can barely stand straight. Yeah. Not the best situation in which to have sex for the first time, but
it's okay. They were both drunk. It's okay.
Yeah. Anyway, so they start kissing, and then he's like, "Oh no, wait, my words though." And he's, like, panicking but also going with it the whole time. And this is when we get the delightful phrase "fat pink mast." It lives with the Mirish swamps of George R. R. Martin's vocabulary.
Oh my god. I can't. Why does he write these?
It is like some people have made the argument that, like, oh, Sam's, like, a beginner, like, you know, he doesn't know, so this is, like, how he would feel or describe things.
Yeah, but I don't really care about that realism. You know what? You're ruining one of the few moments of joy that we have. Like, you know, like, it's like, you know, you're like, oh, they're cute, and then, like, you're like, oh, wait, they are cute, and then, what the, like, what? leave. Like, it's just like, stop. Like, nobody asked for this. Or...
Yeah. So, anyway.
I don't like it.
You can't not do a podcast and acknowledge this terminology and just be like, sex scenes are just not George R. R. Martin's thing. It's okay.
Yeah. He has to make them bad even when they're good.
Maybe he and Sarah J. Maas can like collaborate on a book and then they can both get it right.
My God. Slay. Oh my God.
Not that Sarah J. Maas doesn't have cool fantasy themes as well. Anyway, some of her books are better than others. As is the case for every author. Now I'm like, if I had to rank, I think George is the better writer in terms of like world building and all of that stuff. But Sarah J. Maas also has like vast worlds and all, and trying to say things without spoilers. Also, her sex scenes can be like quite repetitive. Like if you read all of her books, you're like, oh, this sounds exactly like that other scene from this book. But they're never cringy in the way George's scenes are cringy.
Right. Damn.
And I think George writes sex scenes for utility. She writes them for pleasure. So that's like the main difference. Okay, now I'm like writing this whole essay on this. Okay, I'm thinking too far into this. Let's get back to the book we're reading. Sorry. Now I'm okay. So for Harmon's birthday, I gave her homework, which was to read the first of the Crescent City books. And there's like this one moment that if you read that book, it's close to the end, and it involves a cleaning device. And I really want her to get there and talk about it, because it was like one of those moments that I've like you know when you read and you just start like shooketh and like you just I read so often, it rarely happens to me because I can like see things coming.
Right.
But that moment was so good. Like nothing compares to it in a lot of ways.
God.
So I want her to get there and then we can talk about it. Except I gave her homework for her birthday, so she doesn't want to do it. So it's fine.
It's okay. I'll get there. Oh my God, that's exciting.
Okay.
I'll get there. Slowly.
Okay, I'm gonna hope you don't remember anything I said today, so that like
okay.
You don't have like spoilers in your head, or like you're not looking for something in particular and you just let it happen to you.
Okay. Oh my God.
Anyway, okay, so books are great. Let's read more of them. So they have sex. The whole time Sam is like, I can't do this, but he doesn't actually stop, and he's like, she says, I'm your wife now. Wait, he's like, you can't be my wife. This can't be happening. And all he says is yes.
It was so cute. Like, she was like, oh my God, like, yeah, the women are great. And they were like talking about all the people on the ship, whatever. This was like before they started having sex. And like, he's like, oh yeah, that makes sense. Like, she's talking about like, oh yeah, like, I don't know, something. About like giving like the kid to them, whatever. And she's like, oh yeah, like, oh, she's talking about how she didn't trust Koja Mo at first. Which is like, girly has never seen a black person.
Oh yeah, definitely.
And now it's like, and she literally is like, yeah, like I fully was like, is this a monster? Like what? Because she's just never seen a black person. Like she just was shocked, which is just such a funny detail to me. Like, because she's like, I don't know, it's just like, imagine like seeing things through her eyes, like getting on the ship and like she's shocked by water. Like she has to close her eyes sometimes when she's looking at the ocean. Like she can't.
I just found out that I got 100% on my theater history final.
Slay! Wow.
Sorry.
Oh
continue.
See, you are a theater nerd. Oh yeah. Yeah, like she literally can't even look at the water too long. She has to like cover her eyes because she's just the vast sweetness of the sea is just must be overwhelming. But anyway, so she's talking about like, oh yeah, I didn't trust her at first, but now she's slay, like she's my girl, you know. And then Sam's like, oh yeah, that makes sense, and he's thinking about all the Craster trauma, and he's like, of course she like would much rather be around girls. And then she's like, I like you too, Sam, which was really cute. And that's when she kisses him. It was really sweet.
It is sweet.
Anyway, continue.
Okay, yeah. Before it gets to the actual sex scene, it's quite sweet. And then it's just...
It is so sweet. Yeah, and then it's mass.
And then the whole time Sam's like, no, I don't want to, but I do. No, I don't want to, but like, I just... But it feels so I was getting annoyed with him. But like, okay, he's like 16, first time. Like, I try to have perspective, but sometimes I'm just annoyed, okay?
And he like, you know...
Like, just... I need Sam... Like, Sam has had more character growth than Sam realizes, you know?
Oh my god, right.
Like, I need him to get on board and now, like, stop calling himself Craven. And, like, that is, like, book one Sam. Like, we don't need this no more.
Right.
But people don't evolve overnight, as we know, so whatever. Yeah, but, so they have sex, and other people are also having sex, because this is, like, the Summer Islander way of celebrating death is like
that is
with life.
Beautiful. That is
great.
So beautiful.
Yeah.
It's like a clap back, you know? You know? It's so nice.
Clap back on death. Like, take that.
Yes, exactly. And I just love them so much. Like, all the women, like, working together, you know, and they love the kid. And they're just vibing, and
it's like a nice little community really they have going on.
It's nice.
Yeah, these books would have so much more sense if it had more people of color.
That's the problem.
I mean,
every time we go over to them, they're making sense.
Yeah,
but I mean that's also kind of
okay. Not always like.
Oh yeah, the like Dothraki were definitely like, what are you doing?
Yeah. Yeah, but how much of that is moments. George and how much was it?
Yeah, that's true.
The people. And like all of Daddy's crusade is like, I'm gonna take over this eastern part of the world with people of color who are slavers, which we all agree is bad. But then I'm gonna tell them how to live their lives. Like, you know, like
it is very white savior for sure.
Yeah.
She's like, on my conquest, I will save you too.
Yeah. Anyway, so the next day, Sam is just like wallowing in his guilt and avoiding Gilly. Like anytime she comes close to him, he just turns left and gets away. And he's like, I should just jump into the sea and die because that's what I deserve. And he does this the whole day, and finally Zondo, the captain, like corners him and is like, you're coming with me. I just loved people just like to the point talking sense to him, you know?
Yeah.
So he gets dragged to Koja Mo, who's like, there's the coast. Get swimming. Like,
or go talk to Gilly. And that was just so girl boss of her.
Yeah, and he's like, but you don't understand me, honor, blah, blah, blah. And she's like, fuck that shit. She knows you're not gonna be her husband, but she just wants a little bit of comfort for a while. She lost her kid. She lost Aemon. Like, can you just stop being such an asshole and just, like, comfort her? And also she is like, all you Vestrosi make such a shame of loving. Like, your gods must be evil, because ain't no good god demonizing sex, you know?
Yeah.
Which is like commentary. Go, George.
So true. Yeah, what god is going to give you eyes and tell you that you keep them shut forever and never look at all the beauty in the world? That line got... Yeah. I was like, that's so beautiful.
It's like... yeah, this is like Sam's whole experience is what like shame around sex does to people, you know?
Yeah.
Just like let people be. And sex is fun, so let it be.
Yeah.
Just
Yeah, just let people exist. Just stop being
yeah.
stupid. Not that hard. Like, just
So
yeah.
yeah. So go to her or swim, and
This
Sam's
is
like,
such a beautiful
okay.
world view, though. This was so nice. This is what I mean. Like, these chapters were just easy to read. It was just
Yeah.
good people, good vibes. Not Cersei, though.
Yeah.
But otherwise, good people, good vibes.
Yeah, so he goes to Gilly and he's like, I said the words, and she's like, yeah, but like that's not all that matters.
Yeah, exactly. And at one point, like, during the whole thing, he's like, damn it, I'm no better than Darian, or whatever. And it's like, no, Sam, there's definitely nuance there.
You did
like,
not abandon your duty.
your mission.
You just had sex. It's like, literally, your Lord Commander had sex. Like,
so
John's, I feel like I don't know if John would now have sex. Like, even he had a lot of complicated feelings about that and blah, blah, blah. But, like, maybe this could be the, and also, like, it's on all the Night's Watch, like, they go to, Mole Town, and they were always, like, going to the brothel there, and it was just kind of understood that they did that. Like, why? And we've talked, like, a long time ago, I feel like we talked about how the whole Night's Watch model doesn't make any sense.
Yeah.
Like, you're isolating these people from their families, telling them they can't do anything fun, and they just must live their life for duty. And then they die, and then your thing diminishes, and now you have to bring in prisoners and, like, criminals to try to keep it up. But instead, if you made it, like, a hereditary thing, they would have, like, a pride-based obligation, you know? Yeah. And I don't know. It just, the Night's Watch make no sense.
Yeah. Pretty accurate.
So
that's an accurate summary. No, that it makes a lot of sense. Like, it just, you're constantly worried about running out of people. You're like, oh my god,
why don't you let them make some people? Like,
exactly. Every 100 years you run out of men. Okay. Easy fix. Like, change the Constitution. Like, not that hard.
I guess, I don't know. Yeah. So
I did think it was interesting, though, that, because, I don't know, they were definitely setting up, like, a Sam and Gilly thing, but, like, we were never in Gilly's head, right? So we just never knew, like, where she was at. Like,
Sam definitely had a huge crush on her, right?
Yeah, but we, like, never knew where Gilly was at. And then...
I mean, for Gilly, too, this was, like, the first time having consensual...
Exactly.
Wait, what's the word I'm saying? Consensual sex. Sorry. Words got jumbled there.
Contextual sex.
Right? Like, this is also a first for her. And then,
exactly.
she is trying to, like, bond with him over it, and he's just, like, ignoring
he ditches
her.
her as soon as it happens. Like, he's just thinking about his own problems. He's not thinking about how, like, terrifying, because especially, I don't think she, like, intended to do this. It was just, like, they got drunk, and then, like,
it just happened. I mean?
Yeah. Like, which is great. It's like it organically happened, but, like, she probably woke up the next day and was freaking terrified, because she was like, oh my god, you know? Because it's like the thing of, like, yeah, he's the only one she has, but, like, he's the only one she has. Yeah. You know? Like, if that goes wrong, like, if that goes down the drain. And also, like you said, it was her first time doing that, so, like, sure, she probably felt great, and, like, she was like, wow, it can actually be good, but, like, it was probably also a bit of, like, there's nerves around that, you know? Especially because she wasn't fully, like, with her wits when she decided to do that, you know?
Like, and it just, like, who knows all the kind of trauma, sex trauma she has from...
Yeah, I was just gonna say I'm kind of proud of her for doing this, because honestly, I kind of never expected it to happen because of the trauma. Like, I thought it was just gonna be a will they, won't they for a while.
I see, yeah.
But, yeah, go off, Gilly.
Anyway. So they're now on their way to Old Town. Maester Aemon is dead. So first off, in the following chapter, we hear about how the Ironborn are closing in on Old Town. Is that going to have an impact on Sam and Gilly and them getting to Old Town, or their experience in Old Town?
I think probably their experience in Old Town.
So they'll get there, but once they get there, it'll be like, we're now on lockdown. The city's shut down or whatever, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
And, like, they were already going to have a hard time convincing people. Now it's, like, even harder to figure all that out.
So let's set, like, a goal in mind. By the end of this book, will they be able to convince someone, or will it still just be, like, an ongoing thing?
It'll be an ongoing thing. I don't think we have enough Sam chapters left for something to happen.
So, like, Sam gets to Old Town and he's in the process of trying to get people on his side with this whole thing.
I think we might only have one more Sam chapter, so yeah, I think so.
Okay.
Or maybe, like, right at the end,
it'll
be like,
no Sam chapters.
Yeah, that's totally possible too. But I think, like, right at the end, like, Marvin will be like, "Sure, come with you, brother," and then they'll go together, and it'll be extremely frustrating because we won't see anything, and we just have to assume everything that happens from there on out.
Nice. Okay, so I'm trying to think of other predictions I've, like, gotten done. I feel like we talked about the prophecy stuff sufficiently when we were talking about the prophecy stuff.
I think so too. Let me think. I did have a couple thoughts, I think. Okay, bro. Aemon was there for 12 Lord Commanders.
Yeah.
That is, like...
Like, he was there for, like, 50 years easily.
That's scary. I want him to do a tier list of all the Lord Commanders. And Jon can be at the top of the list.
Sure. I mean, he wasn't really there for Jon's reign, much of it, so...
So true. And he already disapproves of some of the things he did, probably. Also, it was so cute that he, like, just, like, gave the, like, kingship to Egg. He just was like, Egg's better. I got my places at the wall.
Yeah, like, and that's when he went to the wall, because he was like, being a maester isn't enough separation. I'm gonna now definitely bow out, you know?
Yeah.
I wish he could have stayed at King's Landing as advisor to Egg.
Right.
You know?
Yeah. That could have been cute.
Yeah. Yeah, like, we all want the Duncan Egg stories, so. I mean, they're making the stories into a show now. Not that, like, helped George be motivated to write the main series anymore, but maybe short stories
busy
are
working
easier.
off on the spin-offs. Oh my god. He spends, bro, that's probably why he's not getting any writing done, bro.
It is why he's not getting any writing
done. Like, for an old man spending, like, he's spending hours on set, or, like, hours spending emails back and forth with, like, the director. Like, bro, he ain't gonna have, when's he gonna work on, he's just procrastinating by just writing spin-offs. Like,
yeah. He just doesn't want to do it. And I just wish he would admit it. Like, I just want him to say, it's not happening. And then I will, like, move on. It's the stringing us along that hurts me, you know?
Really? Aww.
Well, yeah, because if he just said, like, I'm done, like, I'm retiring, and, like, I would be like, yeah, dude, you did a lot. Like, take your break. Like, you deserve it. But it's this is the year I'm gonna finish it. And then, like, at the end of every year, he does this was not the year I finished it. Like, you know?
Did he do that this year? Was there
probably. I
tweet,
stopped checking. So.
Oh, that's really sad. I'm not looking forward to joining the club. Yeah. I like at least having the illusion that things will be resolved.
Yeah, I don't know. I mean, there's the eternal optimist in me is like, maybe this year, and then I don't know. Like it's so okay, funny. George. I get it. It's a tough series. There's a lot going on. Just you know, you
I
can
just
bow
wish he
out.
would- I just wish he would give it to someone else to write.
I don't know about that.
I just want the series. I don't care if it's bad. I just want it.
Well, then that's why you have the show, so you can have that.
Okay, no, but the show is bad. It's like
how
bad,
do you know?
But literally everybody knows. Like
you said, I just want the story, even if it's bad, and that's what the show is.
No, I didn't say that. I said I just want the books, even if they're bad.
Okay.
Because the books take a certain like they have to be better, you know, for you to publish the book. But with the show, they can just make it.
No, at this point, he can give them toilet paper and they would publish it. Like, people are so desperate.
You know what I do wish? I just wish he has at least started the last 3 books. Or,
I think it's supposed.
Well,
he is like, I think he's been halfway done with the 6th book for the longest time.
Like, I just want something, like, and then he leaves it, like, in his will, like, to be shared with the world. So then, like, if something happens to this very, very old man, it'll just be like, at least we have, like, what his vision
But,
was.
like, I don't want him to die with this hanging over him either, which is why I'm like, just, like, tell everybody and then, like, live your life in peace, however long that is, you know?
Yeah, but he can tell everybody and then live his life in peace, and then when he's dead, surprise drop.
With, like, some kind of a draft. Okay, that's fine.
Yeah, because then it's like, he gets to live in peace, but we get something, you know?
Sure. Yeah. I just want us all to live in peace.
I just want an okay, this was a segue. I just want an outline of every book. Is that so hard to ask for? Wait, is that so hard to get? There we go.
Yeah,
it's not hard to ask for.
He's a gardener, so like he builds that story. Yeah, like he may have a rough idea, but you know, the story's gonna flourish in various ways as he writes it. So, which is what I think makes it so hard for him to finish this series. So, maybe he should have been an architect, but then we wouldn't have gotten these 5 amazing books. So, like, yeah.
So sad.
But hey, it's okay. Even if it doesn't end, there's still enough here that's worth loving, you know? But you're going to be so bad. You're going to be so mad if we don't have the 6th book by the time you finish the 5th one. You're going to be so mad.
Yeah, I am. I'm going to write him a strongly worded letter. Like
it's okay. We got a couple years.
I can't. I'm going to feel so empty when it's over. Like, bro.
Okay, all right. Let's focus on the here and now.
Hold on. Okay, speaking of dead people.
Speaking of dead people, George is not dead.
I'm just joking, okay? If he would just release the books, I would stop making jokes about his...
Yeah, but that's like a harsh condition.
Okay, I'm joking.
I know you're joking, but it is a harsh condition.
I ain't no Maggie, you know?
Maggie. Maggie.
I keep trying. That's the thing. That's why I keep seeing it so weirdly. Because my mouth always goes to say Maggie. Then I have to stop myself. Anyway, okay, I do have other thoughts. You know, okay. People didn't know. Like, there's no lore about Aemon Targaryen, you know? Like, John didn't hear lore about him, you know? Or, like, no, like, big lore. So.
Well, everybody knows that he gave up the throne so that his brother could be king.
Yeah, but like people don't know that guy is now still at the wall doing his thing because people don't care about the wall, right? So they wouldn't care about like Aemon's achievements since.
Right. I mean, until they get to the wall, like, you know.
Yeah, but like rest of Westeros.
Sure. Okay.
Sort of thing. So in their eyes, like Viserys and Dany are like the last Targaryens, right?
Yeah. Or Viserys is dead.
But they wouldn't have cared about the Dany. They thought they cared about Viserys, you know? But like
What are you trying to say here?
I'm getting there. You keep interrupting me. But, like, Aemon was really, like, they didn't even know, and he was, like, a last Targaryen, you know?
Sure, and?
That's, like, wild.
Okay,
That's
your thesis.
No, because, like, he's so old, right? So, like, back when it was like, oh, yeah, like, you know, this heir, what, like, it's just crazy, because it's like, he's, like, an heir. He's, like, a Targaryen, and just nobody out here knows he's a Targaryen. Like, some commoner, like, by Riverrun would be like, yeah, all the Targaryens are dead. Like, Viserys, Dany, you know, Rhaegar, Elia, they all dead. Like, nobody would remember that Maester Aemon is still alive. But it's like, he has had so many achievements, and he's done, like, the most to protect everyone and, like, do all the things. But, like, people wouldn't have even remembered that, like, he was still alive.
Mm-hmm.
That's wild to me. Because he did so much. Anyway, that was my point.
Yeah.
Oh, I was also thinking, I feel like I've said this before, but just in case I haven't, Jon is gonna be one of Dany's dragon heads.
Oh, okay. I think we may have talked about it before, but I like the declaration of it.
Yeah. I also had this weird passing thought. I was like, what if it was like, because you know how this chapter we found out like how exactly Robert has king's blood?
Mm-hmm. I mean,
like
we knew that.
I know, but like before it was like, yeah, one of his grandmas is married, but I just that didn't really make sense to me. Now I'm like, oh, it was Egg's daughter, you know?
Right. Now we have like where she came from. Yeah.
Yeah. And so I was just thinking, what if Dany's dragons' heads just ended up being like Robert bastards? Like if it was like Gendry and Edric and then like Maya, and it's just all the like, it's like king's bastards, you know?
Right.
Yeah, it was just a passing thought. But then I was like, wait, the dragons' heads don't have to be like royal. Like there's no reason for that, right? Like it's just like, yeah. So then I was like, no. But I was like, oh my god, bastards unite. Like, yeah, those are all my thoughts.
Cool. So let's move on to Cersei. Oh, Cersei. All right, so it's like a rainy day, and she is getting the news from Orain Waters that Dragonstone has fallen.
Ooh.
Loras was victorious.
Wow.
And
glorious victorious.
Apparently he was motivated by the growing direness of the news from the Reach. And Cersei's like, oh yeah, those people are really like messing shit up. And like no acknowledgement of the fact that she just like minimized it so much just last chapter. She's like, yeah.
She was like, what are they gonna do? Go down to the arbor? Yeah, Cersei. Go to, like, yes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So
and she still hasn't done much about it. Like, she's just like, oh yeah, Loras will deal with it, and then we'll go.
Yeah. The fleet is now on the way to the Reach, though. So that is something. I don't know exactly how long that'll take, but they're on their way. And, yeah, she's like, oh, that's great. And then it's like, were there any casualties? Well, there were. So Loras, in his rush to take over the castle, turned what could have been a bloodless victory into a slaughter, in the words of Orain Waters. Apparently 1,000 people died, most of them their own. Wow. And including like knights and lords and shit. Like, not that I think that their life is valued more, but for them, I feel like they care about that more. So just such a waste of human life. And Loras is going to be the 1,001st to die because he's really badly injured. He's lost a whole bunch of blood. He's still at Dragonstone, like, because like he literally can't be moved. He,
the show pony can only be saved so many times, bro. Ugh.
Yeah. So
homie's too lavish.
He took a quarrel through the thigh, another through his shoulder, and then he suffered a mace blow that broke his ribs. And then he got doused with boiling oil. Just
wow.
At this point, I just hope he dies so that he's not suffering so much anymore.
Yeah.
Like, imagine just like burning. Oh, but okay, I'm not saying that if you get injured, it's better that you're dead. That's like the kind of thing that like the Lannisters were saying about Bran, remember?
Yeah.
But if he is suffering so badly, I just feel so bad for him.
Yeah. Especially because the problem isn't just that. Like, you know, you can treat burns, but like, he's burning, he's injured. Like, he's just
lost all blood. Like, how do they even go about healing him?
Well, that's what they say. The Maester's like, I can't, there's nothing I can do that won't just cause more pain and whatever, you know?
Yeah, so
meanwhile, Cersei is like, tell me everything, and tell me twice, so I really memorized the details.
And because she's taking pleasure in then later telling this all to Marjorie, obviously. Mm-hmm. And, you know, she like gives the news as like Loras is dead. Like that's the first thing she says, and then she goes into the details, and then they're like, Marjorie's like, well, dying ain't dead. Like, stop exaggerating. But also at one point, Cersei's like, let me spare you the details, and Marjorie's like, no, tell me, I command it. And Cersei's like about to like have an outburst at that, but then she's like, I'm having too much fun to care about this. So she decided she would let it pass. Just like
that happens a couple more times because they like at the end when she's like, dying ain't dead, get out of my sight, like leave, and Cersei's like Cersei for the first time is willing to be okay with it because she's like, haha, she upset.
Yeah,
you know?
She's like, now you feel what I felt for Joffrey. You're crying the tears you should have cried for Joffrey. It's like, she didn't know Joffrey. God. Joffrey was an evil monster. Who cares? Like,
yeah, literally.
It's, but anyway. So she then has a sleepless night. Is that right?
Yeah, basically.
And she's like, oh, if he dies, or when he dies, I gotta raise some statue of him so that, you know, they could be like, oh yeah, he was a hero. But on the inside, I could be like, oh god, he's dead.
Oh my god.
And
oh wait, sorry. When she was leaving Marjorie, she's like, dying's not dead. No, but the Maester say, dying is not dead. I only want to spare you. I know what you want. Get out.
Mm-hmm.
That was wild.
Yeah, this is like all the put on or put upon courtesy is gone. And it also gives me like Marjorie's like we knew she wasn't like this, like, you know, just person that goes along with everything, and like but I like actually seeing that part. And Cersei's like not actually, I don't know, Cersei doesn't consider her at all. She's just more enjoying the fact that she gets to be the one delivering this sad news.
Yeah. And like, I know what you want. Yeah. Come on, like Cersei just has no reaction to that. I'm like, Cersei, and then she like goes along with her plotting. Like, to me, if I was doing all this plotting and then my enemy who was gonna take me down is saying, I know what you want, I'd probably consider that for a second and be like, is she on to me? Maybe I should think about that before I keep
Right.
plotting.
Yeah, like Marjorie can tell that Cersei's just here to gloat. So Cersei leaves.
No, but I wonder if this means that she knows that Cersei's trying to, like, get her to sleep with someone.
Oh,
and, like, do the things, like...
I bet she probably wants that, but or I bet she knows that's what Cersei is planning. But also, I think in the moment she's talking about the immediate thing that Cersei's doing.
Right. I guess, yeah. I just assumed it was like she's so, like, scared and grief-stricken that she accidentally, you know?
I think it's more like, shut the fuck up, get out of my face. Like, just like,
yeah.
Right now you're enraging me. Yeah, anyway, so, Cersei has a sleepless night. The next day, she's hanging out with Taena. Apparently, Marjorie is still convinced that Loras will not die. Where do you land on that?
I don't know. You know, I am worried about... God, what's his name? Qyburn getting a hold of him.
Qyburn getting a hold of Loras. Oh my.
Because Loras is
How would that happen?
Cersei's like, oh my god, you guys, you have to send him back, blah, blah, blah. And then he gets lost on the way. Oh no, Qyburn has him. Or like, oh my god, he dead. And then, do they burn people for funerals?
I think the 7 way is to bury them.
Okay, yeah, because I wouldn't put it past Cersei and Qyburn to dig him up. And then use him. So
you think he's actually gonna die, but he may be brought back to life.
Yeah.
Okay. Wow. That's a lot. So the next day,
he's fit, you know? He's like a warrior.
Right.
That Qyburn could make.
I don't know, like...
Well, I guess it...
Like,
I guess if
depends
it's the
on
magic
his injuries.
Doing it doesn't really matter.
I don't know. That's too logistical. I don't know. So then next day she's hanging with Taena. Apparently there's a few people that claim to have found Tyrion, and the first is a Tyroshi who has the head of a dwarf, but it's...
Wait, hold on, sorry. Before that morning, like when she's having like the restless night, whatever, because Merryweather's with Marjorie, she's sleeping with Jocelyn Swift.
Yeah, but like she talks about how she's always had bedmates. Like, she doesn't always sexually assault all her bedmates, but
but like, oh wait, oh my god, sorry. When I read this, for some reason in my head, Jocelyn Swift was Lord Giles.
Oh my god.
That's why I was like, are we just skipping over this? Nobody thought this was weird. Okay, no, yeah, this is like a girl, right?
Yeah, this is girl? Like, so the Swifts are her... So, Kevin is married to a Swift?
Okay, gotcha.
I think.
Right.
Man,
okay, cool.
Maybe I'll look at the appendix.
Okay. Because I just was so confused. I was like, he ain't coughing? Like, she's just... Why would she want him?
No. Giles
so
Rosby and Jocelyn Swift are very...
Their names just have the same energy to me.
I'm glad you caught yourself on that. Okay, let's see. God. How are they related? So the Swifts are like Lannister Bannermen. That part is clear. How are they related? Harris Swift is Kevin's father-in-law. Yeah.
Okay.
So Jocelyn is like somehow related. Like she's one of the Swifts, but it's not clear to me whose daughter or what exactly.
Right. Like if she's like daughter or wife sort of
She's
thing.
like some Swift's daughter.
Okay, cool.
Yeah. Just kind of like a lady in waiting, you know?
Okay, cool.
Anyway, okay, I'm glad we clarified that because
I was
that would have
like-
been a big misunderstanding. Like, what? Can you imagine Cersei letting that guy even close to her, like, let alone in her
Yeah.
bed?
I was so confused. I was like, I literally wrote down, I was like, is she that desperate? Like, she can't find anyone else to sleep with her? Like,
Oh my god. Okay, so,
guess it's an enemies to lovers arc.
no, thank you. I would like to spare poor Giles all of that. So, there's a guy from Tyrosh who has a dwarf's head, but the dwarf has the wrong color eyes, and also it's clear that his nose was cut off at a later point. Poor little people that are just getting slaughtered left and right because of Cersei's oh my god.
She just refuses to do anything about it. Like, she's like, wow, this hasn't worked. And she keeps getting mad every time it doesn't work.
Well,
But she isn't like,
she was mad. Like, we saw her and before, like, getting one of these audiences, and she was like, I'm mad, but I'm not gonna, like, punish them because that'll discourage others from bringing me more heads. And but this time she's just like, take him to Qyburn.
Yeah.
And okay, this guy, okay, all right, so he says, like, I bring you justice, I bring you the head of your Valonqar. So he uses that term. And she's like, oh, that Valyrian word sent a chill through her, and the imp is no longer my brother, he never was. So what do you draw from that?
The imp was never my
What does Valonqar mean?
I don't remember.
From this information in front of you, what do you think Valonqar means?
Like your enemy, like your person, like the...
So this guy's like,
who's
I
gonna
bring
take you
you
down?
the head of your Valonqar, and she's like, the imp was never my brother. Is no longer my brother.
Valonqar's brother.
Seems to be.
Oh, I fully did not read that. Oh my god. Okay. Huh. And wait, the prophecy. Hold on.
We're gonna get to the prophecy. Don't jump ahead. Let's just get through the chapter as we get through it, okay? But just bringing that to your attention, okay?
Okay, good to know. I totally did not read that properly.
Yeah. So this guy is like, okay, obviously this is fake. So she's like, you're going to Qyburn, blah blah blah. Then
oh my god, wait! So then it could be Jamie. Oh, because I was wondering how that was gonna come true. Because I was like, oh my god, is this like a book 6 thing? Like, we don't have... You know, I feel like if Tyrion was gonna kill Cersei, we would see that in this book. Oh, it's Jamie! Okay. Oh, I can't wait for that to happen. Okay, slay.
all right, glad we got there. So then a couple more guys come in and they're like, oh, I saw him at this place. No, I saw him at this place. And she's like, okay, just like take us there, and if it's him, it's great. If not, you'll be I forget her exact threat, but it's basically like, you dead, right? And then they're like, oh, actually, I'm not so sure it was him. Let me just go and double check, and I'll be right back.
Oh my god.
So that's how her mission to find Tyrion is going. So now, like, obviously she's been unsuccessful. She has been successful in killing a bunch of little people or children. Just like, remember when it was just head of an ugly kid. Like, what?
Yeah. That's so, like, what?
It's so
That's
disrespectful.
vile. That's vile.
And then and okay, so like she's not successful in finding Tyrion. She's having all these other people killed. And now the people that are like motivated to look for Tyrion are also no longer motivated to look for Tyrion because they're afraid that if they get it wrong, they're gonna die. Like,
yeah.
Just what is your strategy here?
She doesn't have one.
So, yeah, then she's hanging out with Merryweather again, and Merryweather's like, maybe we'll go into town and we can go see this guy that can change your gender or sex for a night. Would you like to be a man for one night, Your Grace? Like, I think Merryweather's like zoning in to Cersei's gender problems. But it is a weird thing to read, you know?
Yeah.
And then she's like, what is it? Then there's more petitioners. Jalabarzo makes his case and she's like, next year.
Wait.
Which is...
Sorry, before the... Wait, one of the... You know, like, the other people who were like, this is the news of Tyrion, whatever, you know?
Mm-hmm.
Like, the informers? One of them said that he'd become a hermit in the Riverlands, living on some haunted hill.
Ghost of High Heart.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I
or
feel
do you think it's actually Tyrion? Because the Ghost of High Heart was really short as well, remember? Like,
oh, they just got confused between Ghost of High Heart and Tyrion.
Well,
I thought like Tyrion was with the Ghost of High Heart.
Oh, that could be. See, I didn't think about that. I was just thinking about the fact that the Ghost of High Heart herself, she was tiny, you know?
Oh, I forgot about that. Yeah. I just thought it was like...
I guess I should ask you, do you think either of these guys actually saw Tyrion?
I don't think the person from Old Town that said that he was giving, like, mouth jobs.
Right.
I don't think that's true. I don't think
mouth
jobs.
I think that's the first time I've heard what. You can't. No,
I couldn't. Like,
you could say blowjobs, oral sex, like
okay,
mouth jobs is so wrong.
Josh, I think I forgot what blowjobs meant for a moment. So then I couldn't think of the word. Like, I remembered that blowjobs was a word, but for some reason I was like, oh, that's wrong. So then I was like, I'll just make up a word and hope no one notices. Yeah, I just forgot words in their meaning.
It sounds like something George R. R. Martin would say, though.
Yeah, so true. I gave a mouth job to his mast.
Oh, so God, no.
Okay, I don't think the Bravos one is true, but the Riverlands one I do think is true. Because also, you know how last time I was like, oh, maybe he's hanging around by Jenna, you know?
Oh, you were saying that, yeah.
So maybe it's like he did that, and then he went to High Heart when he found out, like, Jaime was coming. Maybe he's, you know, maybe him and Varys are doing, like, yeah. I don't know, I just thought that was interesting, because I was like, I feel like there's gotta be some amount of truth to that one, you know?
Yeah, see, I took it to be like, this person saw the Ghost of High Heart and was like, oh, there's a little person, and Tyrion is a little person, so obviously it's...
That would be a cute little Easter egg, yeah.
But you're right, you did predict that he's with Jenna, and Jenna is in the Riverlands, so there's something there, maybe. Alright, so more petitioners. Jalabarzo wants his kingdom back. She tells him next year. The Guild of Alchemists is like, hey, now that you have Dragonstone, if there's any dragons in stone, can you give them to us so we can hatch them? And she's like, well, they're probably not there. but sure. Actually, she doesn't say sure. She's just so sure herself that there are no eggs remaining on Dragonstone that she's just like, there are none. Mm-hmm. And then there's merchants who are petitioning because the Bravosi Bank is demanding repayment of their debts because the crown isn't paying its debt. So merchants are unhappy now. Like, is there a class of people she hasn't pissed off?
So true.
And she's like, oh we just need our own bank. Like,
oh my god. It's like, girl, do you know how in debt you are? Where are you gonna get your own bank from? Like,
yeah, it's
well, I guess she wants Golden Bank of Lannisport. So I guess I was about to say the Tywins can have their own bank. The Lannisters can have their. I guess she wants it more for them.
It's like it's not like she's thinking this seriously. She's like, we just have our own bank, and then like that's it.
Yeah.
Like,
yeah.
And running a bank is not easy business. Like,
yeah.
And like, if you don't have money to repay your existing debts, you don't really have money to be opening up your own bank, you know?
So true. But to be fair, the Lannisters would have money to pay the debt, but it's the crown that doesn't, right?
Yeah, because she's like, we need the money for our war.
Yeah.
I don't know. It's not like a solid plan anyway, so...
I don't think she's thought it. I think we've thought it through more than she has.
Yeah. And then she's like, oh, you should just pay your debts. And like how hypocritical of her to say.
Oh my god. So funny.
Then it's people from... it's a delegation from the High Sept. The High Septon himself is not there because he's busy doing the Lord's work or whatever, which is trying to shut down brothels apparently now.
Yeah.
Like,
haters.
You know, like from last chapter to this chapter, such a contrast. And she's reflecting on how like so many people have already joined the Warrior Sons. That's what they're called. I couldn't remember. And she's apparently seen Lancel. Like, Lancel is definitely one of them now. And yeah, and then she's like, you can't shut down brothels. We need brothels. We need their pennies to like for our army. Reminder, it's the dwarf's penny, in quotations, that Tyrion implemented for every act of sex that they have to pay a penny in tax. And she's like, we need those pennies, but like never acknowledges that Tyrion like set this up for you. And she's like,
That's
well, also people who come to trade want brothels, so you're just like diverting all of that. And they're like, no, it's sin and blah blah blah. God. Yeah, I guess she summoned them to be like, stop, and they're like, we're not gonna. So that's what they're doing. And then
how pious of them.
Yeah. So then Pycelle comes in with a report on Giles's health. So Guy is seriously dying. And she's like, he's been dying for years. If he's really dying now, it's because you're killing him. What?
Oh my god.
There's like
Pycelle
no logic
like,
in any of this.
Yeah.
So yeah, what?
She's like, who would want him dead? His heir or the little queen? Some woman he once scorned? An old enemy? A new... Like, what? Cersei is just like... Honestly, if Cersei was alive today, she'd be the biggest
alive today?
Like,
you say that as if she's a historic figure. She's not Anne Boleyn, or...
She thinks she is. But if she was alive here and now, she'd be like such a Joe Rogan. Like, just conspiracy
why
theorist.
Must you sully the sacred space of our podcast?
I'm sorry. It's okay.
Fat pink mast and mouth job I will tolerate. Certain names I will not, okay?
Okay, sorry. Like, she would just be, like, one of those annoying influencers who just makes money off of, like, just being a sensationalist, you know? And, like, and the thing is, she'd get really popular, too, because she's exactly, like, the type of narcissism that's, like, people are like, oh, this is funny, you know?
Oh, Cersei the influencer.
Guys, come up with a handle for Cersei and let us know what it would be. You're trying to think of one?
Yeah, but I feel like there's already, like, back in the day, I never really frequented Twitter, but, like, now it's, like, not even in my sphere, right?
Yeah.
But I remember there were, like, Twitter accounts that were, like, of characters, and then they would interact with each other as those characters.
Yeah. Oh,
so
nice.
I'm, like, trying to think if there was one for Cersei and what that one was called, but I can't. Nothing is coming to mind.
Oh my god, I have one. Cersei, because she's gonna be giving people, like, the tea, the scoop.
How would it be spelled
on things? Cersei, Tea, like tea.
So instead of
Cersei, it would be Cersei.
Okay, interesting.
And also, Cersei.
That just sounds so close to serves tea. Like, it sounds so similar to that.
Oh,
maybe it'll be Cersei serves tea. You know?
Cersei serves tea. Oh, Cersei serves.
Except it's tea about her. Like, she thinks she's revealing facts about other people, but really she's revealing about herself.
So true. So true. She's like, that person clearly didn't get loved by their dad, and it's like, you? Like,
projecting much?
Yeah, but also Cersei rhymes with thirsty, which I think is fitting. And it's like, she's serving tea, so it's like, you're thirsty for tea.
You're thirsty, so Cersei serves tea.
Exactly. We should be her marketing team for sure.
No thank you. Okay, so anyway, she's like, go to Giles and tell him that he doesn't have my leave to die. So Pycel's like, okay, I'll go do that then. Then she, like, finally it's supper time and she's having dinner with Tommen. And Tommen's like, oh, I should come to court and, like, learn and listen from you. Like, he's, like, actually making sense. And she's like, no, you're always listening to Marjorie. She talks too much. I should have her tongue ripped out. And Tommen's like, don't you say that. You leave her alone. I'm the king, not you.
Whoa.
And I won't let you hurt Marjorie. I won't. I forbid it.
Whoa. I feel so bad for Tommen.
Yeah, like, kid's got balls, but also his punishment is, like,
yeah.
So he's got a whipping boy. Like, we've talked about Pate before. But this time, he has to whip Pate himself until he's bleeding. And if he tries to stop, Pate Qyburn comes and cuts Pate's tongue off. Like, what? This is so torturous. He's like 7-8 years old. And she's like, if anybody ever tries to harm my kid, I will kill them. And I'm like, you're the one who's the most harmful to him.
Yeah. Yeah.
This is so messed up. Just so messed up.
Yeah.
Like, Tommen is like a regular kid, you know? Like, he's actually, like, he has empathy for people. He's, like, likable. He has kittens. Like, he's, like, actually a sweet boy. But she's, like, beating the humanity out of him. Like,
yeah.
Is this what she did with Joffrey? Like, Joffrey, we know, like, did not have good parents, even with 3 parents, like, you know.
Yeah, I think it was, with Joffrey, he already kind of had that in him.
So she's like, that's just how kids should be, so she's making Tommen into that too.
I think a little bit, but I think yeah. I think she it's just, so like...
Up. And, like, if Jaime were here, he would definitely protest. But, like, is there like, who is it? Boros goes with him? Like, I don't think Boros is the kind of guy that would just be like, hey, we can just tell her you did it, but you don't actually have to.
Yeah.
I wish she had, like, if Loras would do that, but she doesn't want Loras around him.
Yeah. It sucks.
It's like Cersei is isolating herself, but also she's taking everybody away from Tommen. And, like, she is one of she's Tommen's probably top abuser. So, like, she's also isolating him from anybody that can be on his side. So
yeah. And then it's like she gets mad when he stands up for Marjorie, and it's like, girl, she's like the only relief he's got from you.
Yeah.
You know?
Just
it really sucks, yeah.
This is one of her worst qualities. Like, then that's a big long list.
Exactly. Yeah.
Just like, how can you do this to your child and, like, another child and make your child do that to the child? Like, hate it all.
Yeah, but to be fair, this is also the girl giving random people to Qyburn left and right. So.
I mean, Boros does glance uneasily at Tommen, so I'm like, maybe I could have a headcanon where I can escape to and be like, oh, they just walked it out, you know? Walked it off. Like,
they just went on a big long walk.
I don't know. So then it's nighttime, and she's like, oh, it's so dark, and I bet it's darker down in the cells. And that's when she's, like, thinking of Felice. But I think I called her Phallus, not thinking that there's another meaning for phallus. And there's an email. We're gonna talk about that. But, like, I was just trying to say her name out.
That's so... See, when you were saying it, I forgot about the fact that it was that it was a word. Because we were thinking about it as the name.
Yeah.
That's so funny. Oh, God.
But Felice, or whatever.
Feliz Navidad.
So she's like, she was...
Happy New Year, everyone.
Oh, okay. Sure. Happy New Year, because it's not the New Year when we're recording it, but it'll be the New Year when this comes out. So hope you're having a good one in 2025. Ugh.
Wild.
Okay, so there's... How did you get there from Feliz Navidad?
Because Feliz Navidad, Merry Christmas... and then, like, I was like, oh, I was supposed to wish people Merry Christmas, and then I realized we already did that, and we already had a Christmas episode, like, bro, what? And then I was like, oh, well, New Year's coming up in a week. The episode comes the next week, so let me wish them.
Okay. Sorry, I got confused. Thank you for taking me through your thought process. Okay, so she's thinking about Felice, and it's like, oh, she shouldn't have married that fool. It's her fault that's all went down. Mm-hmm. Like, what? And then she's gleeful about Marjorie crying, and she's like, when I kissed her cheek, I could taste the salt of her tears. Like, what?
Oh my god.
And
Lady Tanda's dead now.
Oh, yes. So Lady Tanda's dead, so Lawless is, like, actually the heir. And, like... Well, not the heir. She's, like, the lady now. And therefore Bronn is now the lord, I guess. And, she's thinking about all that. So she then drifts off into a dream. An old dream of 3 girls in brown cloaks, a wattled crone, and a tent that smelled of death. I don't think I've ever seen the word wattled before. Wattled? How do you say that?
Wattled?
What it is it wattled? I gotta look.
Wattled?
Wattle. A material for making fences? What? No, that's not the.
Wattled. Waddled.
I have no idea. Okay, that's a new word for me, but we get what it kind of means. So this is the dream.
Mm-hmm.
So she went to Maggie the Frog's tent with her friend Jane Farman, who was like the scaredy cat of the bunch, and kind of like left as soon as Maggie woke up. I'm just gonna call her Maggie, even though she's the Magi, and whatever. Malara is the other friend that's with her, but she stays with Cersei the whole time. So she's remembering this, and like the whole like the way she's going through the dream, she's like, no, don't do it, no, don't do it, but like obviously it's already been done.
Yeah.
So they sneak off to, like, this is at some tourney in, I think, Castle Rock, Lannisport or something. So they sneak out of their tents into Maggie the Frog's tent, and Maggie the Frog is sleeping, but they wake her up rudely, or Cersei wakes her up rudely, and that's when Jane, her friend, runs off. And she's like, she was a smart one. She's still alive. She was smart to go when she had the chance. But Malara and Cersei stayed, and they wanted their futures told. And Maggie the Frog was like, fine, First she's like, get out of my face. Like, she tries that a few times. But Cersei's like, oh, you have to do it, otherwise I'll have you whipped for insolence or something. So she's like, fine, I gotta taste your blood. And Malara's like, oh, please just tell us our futures, then we'll go. And then she's like, some are here who have no futures.
Womp womp.
Yeah. So Cersei then, like, she tastes her blood, and Maggie the Frog is like, okay, you have 3 questions. 3 questions you may ask. You will not like my answers. Ask or be gone with you. So Cersei's like, will I wed the prince? And she's like, never. You will wed the king. And Cersei took this to mean that she'll marry Rhaegar when he became king. But we all know that it's because she's going to marry Robert. And then she's like, okay, but I'll be queen though, right? Queen you shall be, until there comes another, younger and more beautiful, to cast you down and take all that you hold dear.
Wow.
And Cersei hasn't learned her lesson yet, so she asks one more question, which is, will the king and I have children? Yes. 6 and 10 for him, and 3 for you.
Wow.
Now we also have an exact number of how many bastards Robert had.
Oh my god. Wild.
Gold shall be their crowns, and gold their shrouds. And when your tears have drowned you, the Valonqar shall wrap his hands about your pale white throat and choke the life from you.
That is terrifying.
Okay, so give me your interpretation of this entire thing.
Like, just the last one, right?
Well, all of them. Like a younger, more beautiful queen to cast you down and hold you
Oh,
up
okay,
dear,
right,
like,
yes.
all you hold dear.
Marjorie makes sense.
Well, it makes Cersei's
Marjorie.
reaction to Marjorie make a little bit more sense.
Yeah.
So you think it's Marjorie. Cersei clearly seems to think so.
I don't think it's Marjorie.
Then
but I
who
don't
is
know
it?
who else it could be. I'm thinking. Let me think. Give me a second. I think, like, it's gonna be, like, some, like it could be Daenerys, I think.
Definitely.
I think it could be... It could... technically still be Marcella.
Okay.
I don't think that's very likely, but technically, like, if we crown her as queen, it fits, like...
Sure.
It would be weird, though, because, like with Valonqar, we got the specifics of brother. We even got the specifics of how many
You know what I
bastards
like to
Robert
think
would
it
have.
is?
Like, yeah.
I want it to be Sansa.
I was thinking Sansa, but I just didn't, like...
It doesn't make sense how is she queen, but, like...
It would be nice, though.
You know?
It would fulfill that arc very nicely. Yeah, I think the last... Because I think we've gotten this part of it before. Like, a younger, more beautiful queen will take your place.
Mm.
And I think there was one point where I was hoping Sansa, but I just can't, like, logic that. I think. But yeah, I think my strongest guess at this point is Dany.
Mm-hmm.
Just because I don't think it's Marjorie.
Does that mean Daenerys will finally get to Westeros, then?
Maybe.
I'll take that interpretation if that's what it means.
Oh my god, yeah, literally. Like...
Yeah. Okay, what about the next part? Gold shall be their crowns and gold their shrouds.
I don't know. I just assumed that was like, hey, you did this with your twin brother. Well, maybe it's
What's
like...
a shroud?
I don't know what a shroud is. I just moved
Why
on
don't you
from
Google
this.
what a shroud is?
Hold on. Gold shall be their crowns, like, so like gold hair, like they're a Lannister. That part?
Yeah, and also they're, like, royal.
Okay, that makes sense. Hold on. Oh my god.
Will you share with us your oh my gods?
A burial garment.
Mm-hmm.
I don't like that.
So what does that tell you?
So they're gonna be... They're gonna die.
Seems to be.
All
and
of them.
when your tears have drowned you, so after that, the Valonqar shall wrap his hands about your pale white throat and choke the life from you.
Wow.
Knowing what you may have surmised from earlier in the chapter, through a lot of help, what might that mean?
Jaime's gonna kill her.
So, like, clearly she thinks it's Tyrion, but I'm like, oh no, this is the ultimate, like, Jaime, Cersei ending.
Ultimate breakup. This is the ultimate breakup I've been predicting this whole time. Oh, that's such
I want to share
arc.
so much more about that, but, like, we haven't gotten there yet, so...
Bro, this is such a good arc. What the heck?
Right? Oh,
I don't think I've
so
ever,
satisfying.
I don't think I've ever read a better, like going from toxic to, like, healthy, like, I've just never read a better
I don't know
arc
how
of this.
healthy it even is now, but, like,
no, but,
separated
like,
from toxic.
working towards healthy, like, getting over, like, your toxic ex, basically.
Yeah, but also killing
and, like,
your toxic ex isn't healthy.
Yeah, well, that's fine. But, like, because the thing is, like, most things that you read or watch about that aren't necessarily fantasy-based, so the ending is never you killing them. Like, you know? It's always, like,
I'm gonna give you... Okay. So, you know how...
Mm-hmm.
It's so hard to keep shit in my brain.
Mm-hmm.
I want to tell you so much.
Just tell me. I'm cool. I'm cool like that. Don't worry.
Okay, you know how when she burned the Tower of the Hand, Jaime was looking at her like, ugh.
Yeah.
My theory, but, like, also everyone's theory, is that that was, like, him seeing the Mad King in her, you know?
Yeah.
She's gonna continue...
I think we talked about that.
On that path and, like, do more, like a Mad King action to where he has to kill her.
Right. That makes sense.
And then he goes from Kingslayer to Queenslayer and, you know, like... sister fucker to sister killer.
That's so funny. I like that.
Yeah.
That makes a lot of sense to me, I think.
Yeah. So Yeah, so
Whoa.
like what we have surmised from this prophecy, like we know the part that, like, once again, George R. R. Martin gives you threes, and there's always like the one that's verified, you know? The one that's
Yeah.
verified is that she married the king and that they had these kids.
Mm-hmm.
Now, a younger, more beautiful queen's gonna come along and cast her down. Her kid's gonna die, one of which has already died. And then her brother's gonna kill her. We think it's Jaime.
Oh my god. This is so wild.
Right?
So Dany's on the throne.
So, like, when you say, does George R. R.
Jaime's
Martin have an
killing.
outline? I say he has presented the outline.
Oh my god, right.
You know?
That's true. Yeah, he's already given us the outline. You just have to be willing to read it.
Yeah. So that's her
Oh my
prophecy. Like, and obviously how she interprets it.
Do you think all the waiting in between is part of why people have such good theories about these books?
Oh, 100%. Well, it's also why
years.
people have such wild theories. Like, you know, they're it's like a bell curve. Like, the quality of theories goes up until you get to like 6 or 7 years out from the last book, at which point people are so desperate that it just like...
Right. Then we get... What was that one that you read to me? That was wild.
Varys is a mermaid?
No, Tyrion is... something.
Oh, Tyrion is a time traveling fetus.
Yes,
Daddy's like Daddy's kid.
Right, yes.
Rogo? What was the kid's name gonna be?
I think so.
Rhaego, maybe? I think it was gonna be Rhaego, because it was like Rhaegar and Drogo.
Yeah.
Anyway, so yeah. Tyrion's a time-traveling fetus.
That's so funny. Like, that's so cool. Oh my god. I just get intimidated sometimes, because I'm like, how do people come up with this? Like...
Well,
the best I can give you is Dany and Jon are gonna team up. Like, I have no specifics for you. Like, you know what I mean? Like,
right.
Wild.
Well, the thing is, like, there's like every theory you can think of is out there, but sometimes, like I've read a lot of theories. Like, you know, I've come across them in the wild. But sometimes, like, there's been a few times where I was reading the books and I came up with a theory, and I went ahead and found out, like, other people already had a theory, but the theory came to me first, like, organically.
Oh, that feels
That's such a good feeling.
That feels good.
Yeah.
Like, I will forever be happy about R plus L equals J. Because I pitched that, and then you were like, actually, everyone
pitched a part of it, and then I...
What do you mean? I pitched Lyanna.
Yeah.
That's the part I care about.
Well, that's what I said. You pitched a part of it. Part of the equation.
Okay, yeah, that's true. You're right.
I literally said that.
That's true. I don't think I ever paid attention to Rhaegar, even though they brought him up many times, until the theory was presented. And then I was like, oh yeah, this dead guy's important.
Yeah.
Slay.
For like 2 people who have been dead for the entire book series, they have a lot of influence on the series, you know?
So true, yeah. Oh my god.
Okay, so
everybody wants to be with them.
I guess. Yeah. I mean, yeah, Cersei and Robert, definitely. So...
the dead thirst traps.
Now we move on to her friend's prophecy.
Oh, yeah.
Right? Like, her... Cersei's like, this is bullshit. We're not paying attention to this. So she turns to leave, but her friend's like, no, but I have a question. And like in her panic, she just blurts out, will I marry Jaime? Like, now if you remember,
my God.
She talked about her friend Melara having ambitions beyond her station or something like that. So now we know what that means.
Yeah. That's wild, though, that Cersei just was like, boop. Go die. You know, like, that's crazy.
Sorry, can you rephrase that in clearer terms?
It feels wild that this was all it took for Cersei to be like, bye, friend, you're done.
And you're saying that... like,
she dies, right?
And
the same night.
And it's a natural death?
No.
Okay, so you're saying Cersei killed her. Can't you just put
Yes.
those in those terms so that I know that that's what you're saying?
Sorry. Okay, I'm bad at being clear.
You're like, Cersei says bloop. Cersei says bye. Like, what? I need you to just say it for me so that I can be sure that I'm not spoiling you.
Yeah, I think that Cersei killed her.
Okay.
Instantly after this. Because, like, all the times this comes up before, like, the little hints we get, it was always like, yeah, that bitch, she betrayed me, so I killed her. Like, it was very much that vibe, you know?
Yeah.
It was very
I don't
much
know
like,
if it was literally that night, though. That I don't know about.
No, but she says, like, you're not going to survive the night.
Oh, really?
She says to her, what does she say?
She says, not Jaime nor any other man. Worms will have your maidenhead, which, excuse you.
And then she says,
your death is here tonight. As in, like, in this tent, as in the person that's going to kill you is here. Tonight, as in they're there at night.
Oh, I thought it was also, like, you die tonight, you know?
I think it's more that, like, they're there at night and that Cersei's there.
I see. Okay, that makes sense. Either way, Cersei kills her. Cause, what was I gonna say? She's like, you bitch, like, you're trying to... Okay, I forget what I was gonna say, but that's okay.
Anyway, so basically, yeah, Maggie's like, Cersei's gonna kill you. We don't know exactly how that came to be, but, like, we know Melara fell down a well and drowned, and, you know?
Yes, yeah, that's what it was.
So, there's, Cersei's like, you stink, we're leaving. So they leave, and she wakes up from, like, the nightmare, basically, imagining that Tyrion is strangling her. And she's just, like, trying to console herself, like it's just a dream. But she tells one of her maids to go find Pycelle. And Pycelle comes in and he's like, oh, what's going on? Why don't you just drink some wine? And she's like, I drink enough wine. And I'm like, oh, that is a surprising take from Cersei, actually.
So true.
But basically she's like, I still can't sleep and I want dreamless sleep, so make it happen. And he's like, okay, I will go do that. And then as he's leaving, she's like, okay, one more thing. What does the Citadel have to say about prophecies? Can our Moros be foretold? And he's like, well, maybe. There's some spells somewhere. But the question is, should they be foretold? And the answer should be no. Some doors are best left closed. And then she's just like, see that you close mine as you leave. She's like she's not having any of his wisdom.
This is such a complete 180. Pycelle being the wise one in the room. Like, now I look forward to Pycelle being there. Get this out of here. I don't like this.
Yeah. So then the next morning, she's having breakfast with Tommen, and he seems much more subdued. I wonder why. No harm will ever come to Tommen whilst I still live. Just her lack of awareness in what she's doing to her kid. And then she summons Qyburn and is like, by the way, so that Fey'lise lady, is she still alive? And he's like, well, alive, yes, but perhaps not entirely comfortable. And then she's like, well, you know, we've got this guy, and, like, I really gotta get rid of him. If we had her older sister come in, that would be really helpful. Like, this is the first time she's actually gone back and, like, reflected on her action and been like, maybe that wasn't the smartest thing. But she doesn't really dwell on it.
Yeah.
And Qyburn's response is that she's no longer capable of ruling Stokeworth, or indeed of feeding herself.
What the heck?
I've learned a great deal from her, but the lessons have not been entirely without cost, and I want to know none of it.
Yeah. Yeah.
Ugh. So then she asked Qyburn about the prophecy thing, and she's like, well, there was this wood switch, but she, people called her Maggie, and he's like, oh, you mean Meiji? And she's like, oh, I guess that's fine. Is that how you say it? So, like, who knew to call her Meiji, and then how did it become Maggie over time?
I don't know. That's
But
cool.
she's like, oh, well, she made prophecies. I laughed at them at first, but she foretold the death of one of my bedmaids. At the time she made the prophecy, the girl was 1 in 10, healthy as a little horse, and safe within the rock. Yet soon she fell down a well and drowned. Cersei, you killed her. You made this prophecy come true. You could have just not killed her. Like, she's saying, like, this prophecy, like, miraculously came true.
Girlie has no accountability. We knew this. Like, everything and everyone and everything and everyone else is always to blame with Cersei. Cersei can do no wrong.
Like, okay, so she's, like, trying to now forestall the prophecy of a younger, more beautiful queen overtaking her. But she's not reflecting on what she could have done to avoid the last one, you know?
Yeah.
I just, like, it's so wild. Like, I can't express thoughts.
Yeah. She's not like, oh, maybe I shouldn't be trying to put these into motion because then maybe other ones will have, like, what? Like, girl. Ugh.
Yeah. So he's like, okay, so yeah, it can be done. And she's like, how? And he's like, I think you know how. Like, which is kill Marjorie. Like, that's
wild.
I could, like, if I had to be a person in Cersei's court, I would just, like, retire to my country house. Like, I could not.
Oh my god. Yeah.
Like, Pycelle's still hanging in. Like, Pycelle sucks, okay? Let's not forget that. But in this case, he's hanging in there, and he's, like, still going at it.
Yeah.
Like, if I were Pycelle... Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. Yeah. You can say whatever you want to say about him, but man's is committed. Like,
yeah, I do not have the patience for this kind of thing.
Yeah.
So she's like, yeah, I knew that all along. I'm gonna have to do that. And then she's, like, thinking of how to do it. And of course, now she ultimately decides to ramp up her plan with Osney. Like, it's unclear exactly what he does. She goes and asks Osmond whether Osney can take on Boros Blunt. What do you make of that?
I think it's like it'll be like a trial by combat for him after he, like, betrays the crown by sleeping with Marjorie. And then it's like treason, so it's like she's dead.
Right.
Or
but okay.
It could be like to get past, like, protection or something, but I think it's the first one.
I was gonna say, I'm not sure this plan makes sense, but, like, that's the obvious statement here. Because, think about it, okay. Osney sleeps with Marjorie. Let's say that happens somehow.
They're gonna kill him right away. Yeah, like, this
No.
It doesn't make sense.
He says he sleeps with Marjorie. They then charge Marjorie with trial and with treason. And also this guy with treason. And he's like, I'll defend my honor with trial by combat against Boros. So he fights Boros. and then say he wins, then he's proven not guilty of this treason. Then isn't Marjorie also proven not guilty of that treason?
I thought it was... I just assumed it was more like they were doing their own thing, because it was like...
Or is it that Boros represents Marjorie and Osney represents himself?
Oh, like who was guilty? Like who initiated this sort of thing?
Or, I guess, yeah, I don't know.
Like whose fault is it sort of thing? Yeah, I just assumed like it was like they were treated as separate cases. Like because the gods chose him, he must, like sort of what you're saying, except they're not fighting each other. Like they're not representing each of like the guilty or innocent parties. Like I thought it was more like if the gods save him in his trial, then it wasn't his fault. Marjorie came onto him. And then if Marjorie doesn't get saved in her trial, or like her trial, like, do you know what I mean? It is separate blame in that way, but
guess.
it just depends on how they're. That's what I assumed.
I guess.
It just depends on how their
it's
trial
not
goes.
quite clear to me from this information what Cersei exactly wants to do, but it's no good.
Assumed it was like that, yeah. Yeah,
or
it's
is she just go straight up kill Marjorie and then do trial by combat?
Right. Yeah, right. Because she has waited long enough to try and make like the plan happen. What's the word called when you
Seduction?
like tempt someone? What's the word?
Seducing?
Seduction. There we go.
Yeah.
Thank you. I was like, when you like do the thing and then you do the thing. Yeah, seduction. Like all this seduction has not worked so far, and like I don't think it's gonna, because as we know, Marjorie is not like Marjorie's
smart. Too smart to do that.
Marjorie isn't gonna throw that away, and she's got Larry Merriweather, Lady Merriweather, telling her everything, I think. And she literally says, I know what you want.
Right.
All the things. And on top of that, even if she hadn't done any of that and Merriweather wasn't involved, I don't think Marjorie's gonna throw away everything like that. Yeah, like it could be the killing thing and then go on trial, or it could be the seducing.
So will she succeed in incriminating or killing Marjorie?
Wait, sorry, one thing. But she does say the evidence would need to be so overwhelming that even Marjorie's own Lord Father would consent to her execution. So I think it is the framing rather than the going straight to killing.
Yeah, that makes sense.
But do I think it's going to work? I think so.
So Marjorie's... Yeah. Oh, sorry, go ahead.
But I think it is going to work, and it's going to be like one of those, oh, well, see, Marjorie did this, she had to die. But I think it's really going to wreck her relationship with the Tyrells, because now both of their kids. Yeah. So I think it'll be like a she'll win, but for how long? You know?
Okay. All right. I think we're good. We've talked about everything. You're like, Loras is going to die, but Qyburn is going to bring him back. And we talked about the prophecy when we talked about the prophecy. So I think we're good. Let's move on to next chapters. We're reading 2 next time, so give me your hopes and predictions.
Jaime and Brienne, and it's a reunion.
We're reading chapters 37 and 38, and chapter 37 is Brienne, and chapter 38 is Jaime.
I'm a little genius. To be fair, our options did recently get cut in half.
Yes.
Reunion, baby.
You really think so? Okay.
No, I don't. Aren't they like really far apart? Or, well, not really far apart, but like, wait, we could get a reunion. Hold on. Jaime is on, well, he's at River Run. Brienne
last time you were adamant that Brienne's gonna go to the Salt Pans, and I was like, she's already at the Salt Pans, and you're like, no, she's gonna go to the Salt Pans.
What did I say after that?
I think you said, like, towards the rivers.
Okay, you know what? It is epic reunion time. Okay. Yeah, they're gonna catch up, and it's gonna be really nice, and Heil Hunt is gonna be jealous.
Do we need a perspective from both of them if there's a reunion?
Yeah, because then something bad happens.
Oh, okay. Like what?
Or, like, then he's like, hey, bye, catch you later, and he goes in to negotiate. That's why his chapter's after.
Okay. Cool.
This is so delusional.
All right. Well, let's read a couple quick emails.
Slay.
Let me just pull it up. All right. So the first email, can you guess who it's from?
Mott's?
It is from Mott's. He promised us an email and he has delivered, except we didn't get around to reading it until days later. Sorry, Mott's, but we appreciate it. So his email is titled The Latest Episode, and this was, I think, 2 episodes ago.
Okay.
So he says, hello there, thoughts. Number 1, Nuv to Harmouth when talking about mediocre characters. I have some good news. There are some very mediocre characters coming up. I have a feeling I know who this is about.
Oh.
I think everybody knows who this is about, Mots. Number 2, Nav about Fairly Stokeworth. What's her name? Phallus? I actually snorted. Mots is the one who pointed that out to me because literally neither of us picked up on it.
Yeah, we were both just like, yes, of course, Phallus, you know? As you do.
Thanks, Mots. Number 3, probably killing Robert was the best thing she ever did. Honestly, yeah. Like, for legal reasons, I feel I should clarify that I don't condone murder, and there have been people who have been way worse for the people of Westeros than Robert was. However, Cersei killing...
For the legal reasons.
However, Cersei killing her abuser feels right and makes sense with the story. I respect it. And then in brackets, speaking of mediocre men, by the way, which totally... Number 4, this is quoting me. I'm not saying in real life kill him, even if they are horrible health insurance CEOs. And then Motz's reaction is, I'm dead. And in brackets, just like the United Healthcare CEO, yes, that is what I was referencing. In case somebody's listening to this like 10 years from now and has no idea what was going on.
Oh my god.
Look up Mario's brother.
That's such a bad joke. Why did I laugh so hard?
I don't know. I don't know. Number 5, Qyburn is a horrifying character. I'm so intrigued, though. Qyburn appreciation email coming? Okay.
Absolutely not, Mods.
I mean, you can send it. We may not agree with it.
We will hate on it.
Number 6, I'm happy to let you know that I got your Parks and Rec reference. However, it's been a while since I watched the show, so I probably won't get a lot of them. It's okay. That's fair, Mots. I think the right to jail one I have made before. Like, it's not even just limited to Parks and Rec anymore. It's just pop culture now. But you're just uncultured, so you don't get it, Harmouth. I'm just kidding. But I appreciate that you appreciate my references, Mots. Love it. Maybe, like, of all the content I consume, every time there can be just one person who has seen the same thing, and then, like, you know, I can be making the reference for that person. It will never be you, but it will be somebody listening.
Oh my god.
Okay, number 7. Wait, if Taena Merryweather's vagina is a mirror swamp, does that make her clit the mirror Shrek? Mods!
Oh god.
Yeah, sorry for that visual, he says.
Oh god. This is really the episode of just vulgarness.
But, like...
Vulgarity?
I don't mind vulgar words, but there's just something upsetting about certain terms used in this episode.
Like calling... Just calling anything that we said this time. Like, I don't even want to repeat it because I'll cringe.
So Mott says, this episode had so many bangers, y'all. Holy shit. I guess this email was less my thoughts and more just me showing appreciation for how funny my friends are. Aww. Anywhoomst, I hope y'all have a fantastic day. Sincerely, Mott's. There's no PS? Oh my god, are we sure this is not an imposter? Just kidding, mods. It's amazing.
It is an imposter. That's why he was talking about loving Qyburn instead of some character whose name we don't barely know. Oh
no.
Okay, Slay Mott's thing.
That's amazing. Yes. And
Slay Mott's Slay.
That was like... That was one of the... Okay, maybe I shouldn't say this online. But you know I have been having trouble with some of our schedulings, and it has made me upset at times, right? Like, you know that? Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. That episode was probably one of the first in a long time when I was just going in happy. So I think that probably helped me be more loose and have fun with it.
Yeah.
So, anyway. All right, so the next email is from Brian, and it's titled Cersei, Rhaegar, and Jaime. I think there was something last episode that I wanted to talk about with this email, but we ran out of time, so let's go through it. So Brian says, Dear Van and Tamra. So this is Brian's thing. On Discord when he first joined, he spelled his name backwards, and for the longest time I had no idea who it was.
Oh yeah, Nerb.
Yeah.
I remember Nerb.
So a thought occurred to me reading and listening to the last Cersei chapter and chapters. Cersei has much more of a fixation on Rhaegar than we are initially led to believe. It does make sense. She was told that she would marry him at a young age and then spent her adult life in a loveless and abusive marriage. She fantasizes about something that could have been, that may have made her happy, but that got me thinking. Let's say things turned out differently. She does marry Rhaegar and they're happy. Where does that leave Jaime? One could say her relationship with Jaime was a rebellion against Robert, but we know their affair goes back to when they were kids. If Cersei were to go off and be happily married, that would leave Jaime in shambles. What do you think? What do you think Cersei thinks? What's your favorite afternoon snack? Love your thoughts. Love to know your thoughts. Okay, we're going to read the rest in a minute. Okay, so the thing that I related to in the last episode was when we were talking about what if Jaime had married Lysa.
Right, yeah.
Okay. What do I think? I'll go first and then you can go. I think if Cersei had married Rhaegar, Jaime wouldn't have joined the Kingsguard because there wouldn't have been pressure on him from Aerys to, like, Aerys wouldn't have named him to the Kingsguard. So Jaime would have been in Casterly Rock and Cersei would have been King's Landing. Cersei would have been happier with Rhaegar than she was with Robert. Like, I don't know exactly how that would have gone, but I think it could have only been better. It couldn't really have been worse, you know?
Yeah.
And because of their separation, I think they may have grown out of it. Or at least not developed it into extra toxicity, you know?
Right.
And Jaime may have found somebody else that he could have been okay with.
Right.
That's what I think. What do you think?
Because... Okay, but I guess my question is... Hold on, wait. There was a thing I was confused about. So if Cersei's with Rhaegar, then... Because Aerys only wanted Jaime to join the Kingsguard because he was basically mad at Tywin, right? And like that whole thing. And he was mad at Tywin because...
Tywin quit being Hand.
Right. And Tywin quit being... Oh, because they had a disagreement or something that we don't know the specifics of, right?
Yeah, but it was probably like a lot of things convalescing. Like, okay. Aerys insulted Tywin when he said, I'm not going to marry my kid to a servant's kid, like, right?
Right.
But also Tywin was more capable of a leader than Aerys, so Aerys was jealous of Tywin. And there have been multiple people like talking about how paranoid Aerys was and all of that stuff.
Right.
So
are we assuming that all of those things weren't happening?
So then, like, Aerys named Jaime to the Kingsguard, and that was like the breaking point for Tywin, and he quit the Hand of the King position.
Right. Yes. Okay. So
like,
for
things
them
just kind of piled on top of each other.
Right. So they would only be able to get married if Eris hadn't insulted him and done the whole thing, right? And he did that after he started, like, getting more mad, right? Like, before it was like he was cool with marrying Cersei, or Tywin just assumed he would be cool with it when he eventually brought it up.
Cersei thinks back to that feast or tourney or something in near Castle Rock where, what was it? So, like, people cheered loudly when Eris was introduced, but they cheered even louder when Tywin was introduced. So, like, there was already those aspects of jealousy or whatever present, and that kind of led him to Eris to, like, break off the marriage proposal.
But the proposal did exist before, right?
I think it was informal. Like, it was informal.
Okay.
I think the feast was when they were going to officially announce it, but they never did.
That's when all the stuff did.
Yeah.
Okay, got it. Okay, so that's... Okay, right. So the same disagreement not happening that would allow Rhaegar and Cersei to get married would mean that the Jaime stuff just wouldn't happen, because things wouldn't have escalated that far.
Yeah,
if the marriage was going to happen. Okay, I get it now.
Like, it's a lot of stuff, like, piled on top of each other, like I said. Yeah. But...
Right. But no, that makes sense. Okay, yeah. Thanks for clarifying. Okay, I think I agree with you. But I do think it still would be, like, a thing that they could relapse into, though. Like, I don't think that it would magically fix it.
Right.
Because it just was too, like... I think that could probably be a problem.
I mean, she killed a girl over it at the age of, like, 10, so...
Exactly. Like, it definitely wasn't, like... Yeah, like, it already was just a lot, and, like, especially, like, they didn't have a mom, and, like, their dad being as unhinged as he was, and, like, it just makes sense that it was, like, so deeply embedded that they would definitely relapse at points, and, like, that sort of thing. So, but I do think it would be, like, she'd have, like, Rhaegar's kids and all those things, you know?
Yeah. Yeah.
But I think I agree with
that
you said.
So that's what we think. What do we think Cersei thinks? I
think Cersei thinks it would be happily ever after.
Yeah, I think so too. Rhaegar is like the one who got away, you know?
Died. Yeah, literally. Especially now after all the Jaime stuff has gone to shit. Like, she definitely is like, I wish.
Yeah. And then Ryan's next question is, what's your favorite afternoon snack? You go first, because I have to think. I mean, do I have one? I have many.
My favorite afternoon snack? That's so specific. I like so many things.
I like popcorn. I like chocolate.
I think right now it's like Gorkere or like Pringles.
Some kind of salty something, yeah.
Definitely salty. Like, my afternoon snack is always, like, salty, like, just...
Yeah.
Something salty.
I haven't been into chips lately. Oh, but I do love fries. Oh, potato wedges. Like,
nice.
Like, seasoned potatoes. Oh, like, seasoned fried potatoes. That's like...
Good. That's good.
Like,
top tier.
You know, you eat that and then you pass out and it's the best food coma ever.
Oh my god.
So Brian ends the email with, I may or may not be working on a quiz for the book wrap up. You'll just have to see. All the best,
That's
Brian.
So fun.
Okay, I really
Thank you, Brian.
Also, thank you for the reminder for me to remind everyone, if you want to send questions or theories or quizzes or anything for like the end of this, between this book and next book, do it soon. You can look ahead and see how many chapters we have left. Harmouth can't do that, but you can. So make a plan for it if you want to participate in that. I feel like this book, I have been giving you all the theories like as they come. So I don't even know if I can compile any theories outside of what I haven't just told you.
Right. Maybe we could, if you don't have that many theories, maybe, you know what, honestly, I would love to just, if we spent like 30 minutes just recapping every theory we've talked about, but like super quickly.
That would
not
you want to
like
compile them for me, because I haven't kept track of them.
Not making me like re-predict and stuff. Like it would just be me saying the same things over and over again. Like maybe for the important ones that relate to the 5th book, but it would just be nice to go back through and like just think about it that way. And
Can
then
someone please compile them on my behalf? Because
all the theories.
I didn't note them down. I was just telling them as they came up.
Oh my god, damn. That's
so I guess I just
then
have
how
to
do you
listen.
make sure you don't miss them? Like, don't you have them anywhere? Or you just have them in your brain?
I just kind of have them in my brain.
Wow, damn. Okay, well, I have a lot of them written down, so maybe just before the end of the book, I'll just go and, like, look and see if there's any,
okay,
like,
you
big
do
ones.
some homework for once.
What?
Okay, I'll look through my notes as well, because I do highlight them in my notes and everything.
Right.
But
okay, so we'll talk about this later.
Yes, okay. What I think, you and we should both listen to our episode where you predicted for this book. And then first see like how it compared, but also the predictions you made for the characters that were not in this book and whether they have changed for next book, you know?
Oh, that's actually smart. Yeah, I'll do that.
So, yeah. Maybe, actually, you don't listen to it. I will listen to our episode. And then you just predict, like, off the bat. And then, like, it'll be... Because remember, I gave you a list of characters to predict for, and, like, more than half of them weren't in this one.
Yeah.
So...
you really tricked me with that. You were like, what's Tyrion gonna be up to? Let's find out.
I'm an evil genius. It's amazing. Okay, so yeah, thank you, Brian. Thanks for the question. That was interesting to ponder. And we love that you're cooking something up for us, and we can't wait to see it. So that's amazing. Everybody else, send us emails. We love getting them, even though we sometimes don't read them right when we get them. But we do read them, so, like, you know, we have never not read a single email. So if you sent us an email and we didn't read it, it's probably because it got lost somewhere in the ether. So send it again. And follow us on Instagram. Our Instagram is @PopCultureSymposium. Join the Discord. Talk it up. And also, if there's ever any delays in an episode or thing, like, we always put that in the Discord. So, like, it's a good way to stay appraised of announcements as well. And yeah, give us all your thoughts. And tell us everything that we got wrong this episode. I know there's gonna be a lot. So,
oh my god.
Yeah. I guess that's everything. So until next time, farewell, my friends.
Talk to you later.